When we say that George Floyd's death has already changed the world, that is not an empty phrase. Protests now indeed stretch around our world. And in the United Kingdom, demonstrators are confronting long-standing images of that country's own ugly history with slavery. NBC's Helena Humphrey has our report tonight from London.
Anger at the injustices of today exacted upon the symbolism of the past. Edward Colston's statue in Bristol, England, rose in tribute to a philanthropist and fell in fury at his profiteering as a slave trader, cast into the same harbour where slave ships once docked. Across the United Kingdom, Black Lives Matter protests are forcing a brutal reckoning with the country's colonial history. Thousands demanded the removal of this monument to slave trader Cecil Rhodes at Oxford University. And this statue of Robert Milligan, another slave trader, was lifted from its plinth in central London in front of cheering crowds.
The problem is statues are simple. Statues say this man was a hero and that's the end of it. They can't debate. There's no nuance. There's no flexibility. That's why statues are not an effective mechanism for telling us our history.
London's Mayor Sadiq Khan has ordered a commission to review the city's landmarks, murals, street names and statues. He wants to erase tributes to those with links to the slave trade. Feelings are running so high here now that even the record of one of this country's most famous sons is now in question. Graffiti sprayed onto the statue of Sir Winston Churchill are now largely removed, calling out his record of racist remarks, a demonstration too far for one of his biggest admirers.
I will not support or indulge those who break the law. If you want to change the urban landscape, you can stand for election or vote for someone who will.
Signs, too, that the movement is spreading. A 150-year-old statue of King Leopold, whose rule caused the death of millions in Africa, was removed from a public square in the Belgian city of Antwerp yesterday. George Floyd's death shone a light on racism and inequality in the world today. His legacy may, in part, change history too. Helena Humphrey, NBC News, London.
An example of what we're talking about. Coming up, some of the other news, an important story particularly that got by as our attention was focused elsewhere over these past few